Welcome to Alzheimer's Speaks Radio. I'm your host, Lori LeBay, and I'm so excited that you're joining us today. We are going to have a fascinating conversation as usual as we learn from people all around the world at all ages and stages of life. Stay tuned as we shift our dementia care from crisis to comfort.
Here we go. What you think about, you will bring about dementia change. We will.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to Alzheimer's Speaks. I'm glad you can join us today. We are going to be talking about the embrace story and celebrating purpose and compassion and the moments that really matter. And that's especially important around the holidays. We are so lucky to have with us Trina Anderson and Brittany Coleman, who are both Divisional Directors of Memory Care at Senior Lifestyles. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but I promise this will be a great conversation and you're not going to want to miss it. So before I introduce you to them, I always like to remind people to visit alzheimersspeaks.com. We have tons of free educational materials regarding Alzheimer's and dementia and caregiving in all different types of formats. And you can just go to alzheimersspeaks.com. Again, go to the free educational button or tab, and you will be surprised what all you find there. And then also our sister company, Dementia Map, which is a great global resource as well. And that is just dementiamap.com. You don't have to set up a profile or remember a password. Just feel free to tap into the information that's there. We're here to be a resource to you. And if you're looking for a gift, you might be interested in our book, Betty the Bald Chicken, which is all about learning how to care. And that you can find on alzheimersspeaks.com as well. So with no further ado, let's meet our guests. Well, ladies, I am so excited to have you on the show today. I'm really excited. Your company name, Senior Lifestyles, has meaning to me personally, just because I use that phrase when I sold real estate. And I just think it's so critical in terms of looking at the whole person when we're dealing with our elders there. So I'm going to have you guys introduce yourself. And Trina, if you don't mind introducing yourself first, that would be great.
Sure. I'm Trina Anderson. I'm a Divisional Director of Memory Care for Senior Lifestyle. I've been with Senior Lifestyle for 8 years now, so I've grown with Embrace. And Brittany actually was the very first memory care director I met when I joined the company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So Brittany, you've been there a little bit longer than Trina then, huh?
Yes, just a little bit longer. So Brittany Coleman, also Divisional Director of Memory Care with Senior Lifestyle. I will be celebrating 10 years in January, and have been in the industry for just about 17 years now, always in memory care. So that's where my heart is.
Oh, wow. Gosh, I had no intention of getting into this space, but my mom changed that plan when she got diagnosed and lived with the disease for 30 years. So, yeah, it's life changing, but really life enhancing. And I think that's the part that we don't talk about too often with that. Trina, have you been personally touched with your own family or circle of friends with dementia?
I have not had any personal family members that have had dementia. I've worked with dementia again, almost all my whole career of healthcare. I think to me, what resonates with me and why I love it so much is that you live in the moment with people with dementia, and they teach so much to me. And so I just have this huge heart and passion and advocacy for those with dementia that they become my family members. And I just really, they have a huge part of my heart.
Brittany, have you been touched personally by dementia in your own family or circle of friends?
Yeah, so while I haven't been personally touched by dementia with my own family, I have worked closely with adults with disabilities. I went to school for special education, and then helped develop an adult day program with adults with disabilities. And those experiences have had a meaningful impact on, myself and just supporting individuals through the challenges that they face, and then has led me to senior living.
Oh gosh, I had that same background.
Mm.
Prior to going into real estate, I worked in developmentally disabled arena in the group home industry for, gosh, almost 10 years. And I remember my friends being just frightened when they'd come to visit me, didn't know what was going on. And then they were like, "Kyle, you really have a cool job, and
Hmm.
it taught me about independence and dignity and joy that
Hmm.
people were missing. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, it's very, very, very valued. Brittany, why don't you tell us a little bit about your Embrace program? What the heck is that? What does it mean? How does it apply?
So, as Trina had mentioned, I was, I think, the first memory care director that she had met with, and I had shared I'll be celebrating 10 years in January. So, Embrace is going to be celebrating 10 years next year, which is huge. So, we are so excited to celebrate our amazing program. So, Embrace is a specialized person-centered memory care program that's designed to support individuals living with dementia. So, at its core, Embrace is built on a simple but powerful philosophy. Every person living with memory loss deserves dignity, purpose, connection, and moments of joy. And even as the program has grown over the last decade with enhanced training, new technologies, strong clinical partnerships, its heart has never changed. Embrace remains dedicated to honoring each resident's life story and creating meaningful experiences every single day. We have three guiding principles that make up our Embrace program. The first one is lead with love, and that reminds us that caring for individuals living with memory loss begins with that genuine human connection. The next guiding principle is let compassion be your guide. So, this speaks to the heart of our work. So, compassion helps us respond to unmet needs, understand behavioral expressions, and build those strong connections. It calls us to slow down and be present in the moment and approach each situation with empathy and understanding. And the last guiding principle is see the possibilities. So focusing on what our residents can't do instead of their limitations. So it's about celebrating those small moments, discovering new strengths, and creating opportunities for purpose. And together, these principles shape every interaction, every program, and every moment of care. These aren't just words on a page, they are the foundation of Embrace and the lens through which we view every resident, every interaction, and every decision. So they guide our teams as they support residents, collaborate with families, and works alongside one another. Most importantly, they ensure that every person in our community is met with dignity, met with respect, and the belief that moments of joy and meaning are always possible. And our Embrace tagline is when memories fade, it's the moments that matter. And this simple truth captures the heart of truly everything that we do. Embrace is more than a program, it's a commitment to celebrating each person, nurturing the connection, and creating those moments of meaning, comfort, and joy every single day.
Oh, I love that. I hear so often when I talk to communities, everything has turned so task oriented. It's what I got to do. It's not about how I have to do it, and it sure as heck isn't about the whys. It's just about get her done on a timely basis and check off so we're compliant. And that breaks my heart because, again, I came from, the developmental disabilities where you were so connected and everybody worked as a team together. for that cohesion and that personal touch. Everybody knew everybody, from staff to residents to family members. And I personally, I've been looking now for another family member, and I can't believe how much of that is gone in so many communities. And it's been really heartbreaking and frustrating for me, knowing what it was like. And we were really growing and kind of all achieving, what you guys are amplifying, and how much it's just kind of slid away. And the inconsistencies, and some of that's with the staff turnover and things like that. But it makes such a huge difference, not only on the people you're serving, but the families and their comfort and sense of safety, when placing somebody. It's absolutely critical. So I love the dignity, the compassion, the leading with love. We just, sometimes we hear that, but we don't see that when we visit. But I can tell from just the way you laid everything out. I mean, this is ingrained in, I can tell in both of you, because I can see Trina's head nodding, with everything you're saying. You mean it, you feel it, and you value it, and you understand its importance. Trina, was there anything that you wanted to add to kind of Brittany's definition about embrace?
Yeah, she summed it up really great. And I just think like our guiding principles, just like we really try to enforce that with our memory care directors too, to talk about it during our daily huddles all the time too, right? So when they meet, twice a day with their team, that they're talking about these, guiding principles. And my favorite guiding principle has always been see the possibilities, right? Because there's so many times that people look at you and go, they can't because they have dementia, right? And so we're like, no, you can do things. We go on outings. We, go to museums, go to the aquarium, go and do fun things with our residents, because they can do a lot of things. It just takes planning and practice. And planning and, practice and knowing what to do and scoping out the place beforehand.
Yeah, it's very true. I do a thing called Dementia in the Arts with Mary Crescenzo. And people automatically think, well, they can't do that. They can't learn. And it's amazing. I mean, the artwork's incredible and the stuff we learn. But what's also really interesting, when you give people the opportunity to try new things, like with art, every single one of our artists, I believe, has said that pretty much the same thing. When I'm in the zone, my symptoms just kind of melt away and they feel whole again. And that's a pretty beautiful thing to be able to give people, that we don't even realize we're stripping them of by going, no, they can't, or no, it won't work, or whatever it might be. I mean, each of us, we do things as well. We don't do it exactly the same way every time. No. It's going to depend on the mood and the situation and who's around us. And yet we so often don't give a person with dementia that flexibility. It's got to be perfect or it isn't happening. And I have to see the beauty in it, and that you did it right, and that it meets my standards. It's like we strip the person out of the equation. And so I'm so glad you guys embrace that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Trina, as far as embrace, I'm sure it's evolved over the past 10 years. What have you seen really change with the program? And then what has stayed really kind of true and consistent that staff and families and residents all get?
So, I mean, Embrace has grown over the last 10 years. Like I said, Brittany was the very first memory care director that, when I came on. And so we've seen things change rapidly, and some things that we didn't even know were going to change. We've updated some programming, strengthened our clinical alignment, introduced new tools and technology to support our engagement and individualized care. But as you asked, Lori, what thing has not changed? And that is our belief that every person living with memory loss deserves purpose, dignity, and connection in moments of joy. And that even if Embrace has evolved to meet changing needs, at the heart of Embrace has never changed, and that will always remain the same. Honoring that residents' history, their story, their life, their purpose, and their meaning every single day. That's what the heart of Embrace is, and that's what's not going to change.
Mhm.
So over the last 10 years too, as we've been in this role, we've recognized that our memory care directors, who are the champions of the Embrace program, they need to get the best training possible that they can. So our leadership team over the last couple of years has challenged us and let us bring more training to our memory care directors. So they now all have the opportunity to get the Alzheimer's disease and dementia care training. So they are certified dementia practitioners. They're horticulture therapist allies, certification also from Root and Nature, SingFit certification, and then they come to the Chicago home office for 2.5 days of hands-on Embrace training. So I think that we've really helped our memory care directors in that way. We also saw that some of our signature programs also needed to be strengthened. So our Timeless, which is our garden to table, we focused on bringing in a cookbook. So we developed a cookbook for that so that they would know exactly what to cook, and the recipes are all laid out for them so they can print them out and laminate them. We then also saw with gardening that some of them, our memory care directors, do not have a green thumb. So we would, they're like, we've only watered so much.
That's okay. I don't either.
So then we found Root and Nature, who also certifies them as horticulture therapist allies. They have over 100 different activities for gardening for them. So it goes from learning how to use plants as meditation to tea trivia, which I love my tea. So that's one of my favorite activities. And then Melody is one of our newest programs. That too, we found for our memory care directors. We partner with SingFit, and they are a company that has an AI generated playlist for our memory care directors, so that our residents can get the exact playlist that they need for their type of music that they like when they were born. And that helps them with music, obviously, is going to help them bring greater peace, joy, and comfort to their day. And then our Essence program, which is a sensory stimulated experience based on aromatherapy, has also expanded as we have partnered with Dr. Stetler from the Dementia Connection Institute. This partnership, she teaches our memory care directors on how to use essential oils to help them, support them, the residents, throughout the whole day. So, we've taken some of that and helped our memory care directors through those signature programs. Technology, is always advancing, and so we use that also. So what was just a medication record, electronic medication record, has grown into a platform where now we can track our move-in transitions, our meals, our showers, incident reporting, and behaviors all in one place. So that just helps us all to be more consistent in that communication across teams. Also, our engagement platform for programming is also something that we've transformed and have grown with. This helps our family members see, to the moment of activities that their residents are participating in. It tracks their activity participation, and it also helps our team members to quickly see who needs to have a little bit more engagement or encouragement, so that they can see right away, is like, oh, Brittany hasn't been in an activity for a little while. I better go and find out why. So this real-time dashboard for our residents, our team members can really interact, they can respond proactively to that center person care, not just looking at that diagnosis. So our technology really has grown in that way. But I think as we reflect on the past 10 years, the biggest change for us is teamwork. So Embrace has grown by listening and learning and collaborating close with our leadership team at the Chicago home office, our regional team members, clinical, dining, programming, and executive directors. And this whole strengthening of the alignment, it has just strengthened Embrace for our memory care directors, who are our champions, and that enriches the lives of our residents, and everyone who works together, everyone benefits. And the best part is that we're still growing and learning right beside each other.
Oh, that's cool. I wish you guys were in Minnesota, where I'm at. I know Chicago's not too far, but
not too far.
But yeah, it's nice to hear all of the inclusion and just the normal day-to-day stuff. I mean, we take in smells and sounds and foods and textures and conversation, all of that stuff. And I think so often, people just think, well, they'll play bingo. And I'm 66, and so like my group's gonna go in kicking and screaming, going, I want more bingo. Where's my 70s music and
Right.
this and that. And that's going to keep us calm and happy and things. And I love that you're focused on the teamwork, because again, I just did something for one of the large educational platforms on what has happened to us, in terms of the breakdown within the workforce and the workplace. And we kind of deconstructed that with micromanagement. And we strip things away, like the lead from, lead with love. It was like, no, you can't. There's places that won't allow you still to this day to give up somebody a hug. And that's such an important thing, or hold a hand, because they're fearful, how it will be interpreted. And, those types of things just sad me, because I think it just strips so much away. So I love how the company is really investing in education and expansion and how do we improve. And the other thing that I love is how you share with one another. So often when I go into communities, when I do training and stuff, and you can look at the records, and everything that's written down is the stuff that doesn't work, or the mistakes. And we all make mistakes, but what about the joy? What about the good? What about the smiles? Those things matter too. Or the strategies that you find that work, that maybe weren't part of the protocol before, but for this person, this is going to work beautifully. And you can share it to keep the calm and build the joy and things like that. So cool. Brittany, I want to talk about some of the milestones. We've talked about that, you guys have been in business like 40 years, if I remember correctly. And you're on this 10-year movement with your memory care program, Embrace. What stands out to you in the past, 10 years that you've been there?
Yeah, so over the last decade, there have been countless meaningful milestones, but several defining moments that truly stand out. One of the most significant was being nationally recognized for our program and our commitment to innovation. That recognition validated that the programming that we've worked so hard to design and implement is making a real difference and impact in the lives of not just our residents, but our families. That's a big part of those that we support, right? Is not just our residents, but our families throughout this journey as well. It affirmed that we are on the right path, continually raising the bar for what exceptional memory care can and should look like. And each community that brings Embrace to life contributes its own unique experiences, creativity, and heart, collectively shaping the program to what it is today. As Trina had talked about teamwork, I think what's so important to share is that we always train that every single position in our community has a piece of the Embrace program. So what's really great is for our trainings that we do at the Chicago office, the CDP class that we lead, it's not just for our memory care leaders. We have sales and marketing, we have dining, we have our clinical partners. So as we talk about giving everyone the tools to be successful in their role, it's everyone across the board, because everyone has a piece. So I think that that's really important to share. Another milestone has been the strength of the partnerships that we've built along the way, as Trina had mentioned. So not only from our senior lifestyle leadership, but also from the dedicated partners throughout the industry, has been nothing short of remarkable. And those relationships have truly shaped the evolution of Embrace. So providing us with insight, collaboration, and encouragement. Trina and I are constantly evaluating our programming and making sure that we're offering the best programs, to our residents. We really value feedback from our teams, from, our families through our surveys and stuff. So the network that stands behind us has been instrumental to our growth and impact. Um, I think, meaningful turning point came when we saw our team members across all departments truly embrace the embrace philosophy. So it wasn't limited to just those working directly in memory care, but instead it became a shared mindset and a collective commitment. So watching our teams adopt embrace, not merely as a curriculum, but as a culture, and one rooted in empathy, connection, and purpose, was transformational. So it marked the moment that embrace stopped being a program that we just taught, and it became a way of life that we lived. So together, these milestones tell the story of a decade of growth, collaboration, and unwavering commitment, not just to innovation, but the people whose lives we touch every single day.
That's neat. Now, do like maintenance and housekeeping, and I know sometimes activities is not accredited for how much connection that they have and insight and stuff so often. Or are those all trained on all of this too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because I know as a family member, when you feel that from those staff, I mean, there's just this cohesion again, and it gives this sense of safety that everybody understands. And because I've been in some communities where, you know, maintenance or housekeeping, they don't really talk with family. They kind of just do their job and kind of stay out of the way. And I think a lot of that is sometimes they're not given permission to interact, and that makes the family skeptical. But when you have somebody go, oh, they're having a hard time, or you know what, they told me their favorite joke again, it just it gives us this aha moment where we can just pause and feel comfortable, like we made the right decision. So I think that inclusion is way more important than a lot of people understand. You know, the ripple effect. I also loved when you talked about, you know, supporting not only the residents but the families. And you know, I've been on my little pulpit about this lately, because again, I don't think a lot of companies totally understand, or clinics, hospitals, I don't care where it is, and it's partly because of our pay structure system, you know, that is out there, that no, we're here to serve the client. That's one. And it's like, but the family looks at it as we're a team. And so when I have a question for you, or I have information, I want response and engagement. I want to be embraced as part of the team too. And I've noticed lately in many communities, and I think a lot of it has to do with the turnover, that's been lost. You know, again, it was there, but it's been lost. And then that's offsetting, and it's scary to family members.
I think like that the heart of embrace is connection. That's our key point. And we always talk in our trainings when we train everyone that connection isn't just with the resident, but it's connecting with that family member, because that family member is going through a difficult time too. And so we need to make sure that we're also supporting them. So we're connecting with them, we're connecting with our team members, like we're all connecting together, because without that connection, we can't take care of the resident correctly. And we have to be able to do that. So I think it's such a key for us. I think it's such a key part of our programming. And we also include, not only are people trained to do with dementia too, but also they're encouraged to be part of programming. So, you know, a maintenance director will teach Spanish, you know, classes to the memory care directors, or they'll do a men's club, or, you know, they'll do different things like that, because they are also like, they need to be involved in the residents' lives too. And so I think all of that brings it all together, where everyone feels that they have a part of embrace, as Brittany was saying.
Oh, that's really cool. I know over in the UK and Australia and stuff, a lot of their communities, they would mandate, and this was several years ago, but they would mandate every employee had to spend, you know, like 15 to 20 minutes with a resident every week at every level. And I remember, you know, talking about that to American companies, and they're like, oh, there's no way we can do that. And I'm like, you don't understand the benefits of this, not just for your staff and for the person, but for the community as a whole, for the
Mhm.
just the whole cohesion of understanding and respecting one another. And they just had amazing results with that,
Mhm.
where staff actually looked forward to that time
Mhm.
and getting to know people instead of just being an outsider doing a task,
Right.
making a bed or wiping down a table or hanging a picture or whatever it is with no connection.
Mhm.
And I would think, and I'd like to hear from you guys, do you feel this philosophy has helped you retain staff?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I think when your team feels valued and you have provided them with the proper training and to allow them to grow, I think that that's when you ultimately will see their buy-in, right? They have a voice and you include them in decisions that matter. And that's truly how you build, the culture.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. Back in my day, again, when I was in developmental disabilities, I had a boss that was fantastic and she had a wonderful open door policy. Because a lot of times we hear that, but we don't
Mhm.
actually do that where people feel safe entering, what the outcome's going to be. But she had a philosophy of you can bring anything to me and I will listen and I won't blame. But when you walk through my door, have a couple of ideas of how we fix it. And I'm not going to say we're going to, because I have to prioritize the bigger picture. But it's important for me to know that so that we can eventually incorporate that, even if it's not an immediate fix. It might work into a bigger program. And she would
Mhm.
always pull us into that. And it was a sigh of relief, and you didn't feel like you were going to go in and be told, well, you should have done it differently, or you should have done this, or the shoulda, woulda, could haves, where you'd walk out with your head between your legs feeling
Mhm.
horrible, but you always
Yeah.
felt empowered and listened to. And I think
Mhm.
that's something our clients with dementia want, as well as your staff and
Mhm.
family, or prospects and
Absolutely.
partners too. Everybody wants to be heard
Yeah,
with that.
absolutely. Being the type of leader too that's just willing to roll up your sleeves and work alongside your team too. So it's not, having your blinders on and just doing your tasks, for the day. But it's helping each other out, right? And really doing whatever, is best for, the residents. So, being that leader that is um, providing your team with the proper training and working alongside them. And that's ultimately like how you build the culture and you build, a place, and programming is fun, right? So, getting your team and finding out what their interests are, I think is huge too. So who doesn't want to come and, lead a program or join in something that, they enjoy doing. So finding out what that is for your team and including that in their everyday is amazing too.
Well,
And I
and
think that me and sorry,
no, go ahead, Trina.
I just like I think me and Brittany like to like I mean we're in communities, so we do site visits and we go and visit our communities. But we also haven't, we were both memory care directors, but we also have been out of being it, even if we're in a community. And I think that we have some excellent memory care directors that feel that open door policy with us because again, we're not in the field directly. And so they feel that they can come to us and talk to us too about things and change things. And that's how the program has also evolved is because of their ideas and their ways of thinking of like, hey, can we change this or can this be a little bit changed a little bit different too? So I think that helps. And I think too, our leadership team also has given us the freedom to try new things. And we come and present them with ideas. They're always like, yeah, let's try it. Why not?
Mhm.
Oh, that's great. Well, and
Mhm.
sometimes it can be intimidating when the big boss comes into the
Yeah.
place. And is this stage, is everyone comfortable? Is this really what's happening on a day-to-day basis? Or is this a fear-based setup where
Mhm.
you can
Mhm.
feel the stress? And it sounds like you've got a nice working relationship with, they're here to see how we're doing, and hear what we need, what's working, what's not working. And I mean, that's the
Mhm.
reality of life. Everything is not going to work perfect,
Mhm.
every second of the day. And you're going to get a different resident that's going to throw you for a loop. Like, whoa, we've not seen this before.
Yeah.
Where do we go with this? And it is neat to see the creativity that they can come up with. And you're like, and I would imagine as a supervisor, you just feel proud when you see them step up and try
Mhm.
something new.
Mhm.
Even if it's not perfect, it's just they're taking initiative, they're taking ownership to make
Yes.
things better,
Mhm.
which is cool to see. Trina, with the national award that you guys had gotten, I would
Mhm.
imagine that might attract more families, attract more
Mhm.
staff. I mean, kind of everybody. But what have you seen? How that recognition has affected senior lifestyles as a whole.
Yeah. So it's incredibly meaningful to us, right? To be award-winning program. But again, it's all comes back down to our caregivers and memory care directors, programming teams, and every team member because they embrace this philosophy and they make it happen. And so when Embrace is honored, it validates the intention behind the program and our commitment that our teams have made to deliver this exceptional care. But I think that the awards are an honor, but the real achievement is knowing that we have changed lives in there and changed lives and seen them and felt the value of it. I think too, like for us, it's the national recognition shines a light on all the care and creativity and love that our teams pour into supporting our residents with dementia. And I think our proudest accomplishment is not just a single individual program, but Embrace as a whole program has been honored as a national winning program on the stage, which celebrates our heart of Embrace, the philosophy, our approach, and defining moments of the culture that we've built. But we have received two awards for signature programs. So one of them was Essence. In 2017, won Argentum of the Best of the Best. And Essence is again that sensory stimulating program grounded in aromatherapy principles. It typically is a session that includes diffused essential oils, gentle hand and arm massage, the resident's favorite music, quiet alternative conversations. And through this simple experiences creates that calm environment for a resident to really relax, feel comfortable, and experience dignity. So receiving the Best of the Best award affirmed that power of presence, sensory, and engagement with human connection. And then just recently, we just won the Memory Care Innovation Award from Senior Housing for in 2025 for Melody. Melody came from was inspired by a resident named Nancy. She was one of my residents, and Nancy was full of life and spice. And music was always a center to her life. But then she had a stroke and she was unable to walk and talk. But she could always sing along to Oh Danny Boy. And that just inspired something in me. I was like, why? It inspired the creation of Melody because we wanted to find a program that could be for our residents with advanced dementia. And so with this program, we are able to personalize their playlist. So giving them an individual choice of what they want to listen to. And so we look at the resident's history preference. Melody has helped reduce anxiety and pain and supports some peaceful moments. It's fostered connections through familiar songs, and it's even prompted some of our residents to sing or speak again to their loved ones. So it just has demonstrated again how music can reach people long after words have faded. And just having Embrace recognized nationally, an award-winning program just means everything to us. All of our hard work and our member care team, our directors' work, hard work, and it just honors our residents and our teams. It's meaningful, it's heartfelt, that brings Embrace to life every single day.
Well,
Well,
that's
Lori, if I can just add, Trina's not giving herself enough credit when she says we won the Innovation Award. Trina was actually in the 2025 Memory Care Innovation Awards this year. So incredibly proud of her. She took the lead on our newest, signature program, Melody, and did an amazing job. So we were so excited to celebrate her and to get that award just a few months back in Dallas.
oh,
Thank you, Brittany.
That is so cool. And this is just, it's such an important area of work. I mean, these numbers are growing, leaps and bounds. Both those living with dementia and their families, they all need support, and our staff needs to know how to care better, and make it not so hard, make it fun, make it relationship based. Like I don't personally, I don't even like the term person-centered care, because I think it's, again, personally been overused and under-delivered in a lot of areas. I like the term relationship based, and to me, everything you guys have said gets to the core of the relationship. If it's a person with dementia, if it's the family, if it's the staff, it's the team, but everything is about relationship. And I think that term is so easily understood, what that means. And then you add in your words of dignity and compassion and leading with love and in all of those other factors. And every single one of your programs, it just keeps building on that, which is beautiful. So often I think companies get stagnant. They're like, okay, got this, done this, like even with your national award, I don't see you two slowing down at all in terms of adding on and building, because you just seem to have the minds and the heart that always think there's more. We can do better. No matter how good it is today, it can be better tomorrow even.
Yeah.
And keeping your eyes, ears, and heart open to those possibilities, which, I love that kind of environment. That to me, that I just thrive on that, because that's how my brain works too. What stagnant makes me bored.
Yes.
And then I think it's really exciting to be able to see that and hear that that's actively happening out there, because it's not in every community. It's not in every town. And people need to understand what we can thrive for, and being an example, to people, not only here nationally, but internationally too. Everybody's looking for, how can we do this better, and how can we implement this? So very exciting. If you're just happen to be tuning in right now, we are talking with Trina Anderson and Brittany Coleman, who are divisional directors of the memory care at Senior Lifestyle. And they have a program called Embrace Memory Care Program, which is absolutely fabulous. So again, if you just tuned in, rewind and start from the beginning, because you're not going to want to miss any of that. So ladies, why don't you tell people what's the best way to get a hold of you? And Brittany, I'll let you go first.
So the best way for people to find out more about Embrace and to reach out to us is seniorlifestyle.com /embrace-memory-care. And that will bring you right to our Embrace page. You can also reach out to me directly at B Coleman, COLEMAN @seniorlifestyle.com. And my phone number is 224-587-9930.
Want to reach out to me? It's T Anderson, which is ANDERSON @Senior Lifestyle. And then my phone number that you can text me or call me at is 360-296-0201.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's always nice to repeat the contact information a few times for people, so that we make sure that they get it. And again, it'll all be in the show notes as well on that. I also just want to give out a shout out to Q for Good. They happen to be my webmasters, who I adore. And I know that could be a struggle for any size company. For me personally, it's the black hole and the blue screen that I have a big avoidance to. And they just take care of all of the updates and do communication beautifully and do it in a timely fashion. So if you're in need of someone like that, please check out Q for Good on that. But let's get back to Trina and Brittany. I just love this conversation. I'm so excited when I hear exciting programming that really is, person-centered or relationship-based. And I mean, they're really walking their walk. It's not just a phrase. that sounds good, and I can tell from both of them their authenticity and their buy-in. They really believe this guy is in, and it really can work, and that's really cool. So, Trina, why don't we talk about the impact that the Embrace program has actually had on your residents and their families?
Yeah, so our tagline is when memories fade, it's moments that matter. And I think this totally perfectly captures the heart of our Embrace program. And it has so proudly impacted myself, but our residents, families, and team members alike. So the true power of Embrace is actually in the small, meaningful moments that transforms daily lives. And it's that moments that foster the connection, the joy, the purpose, and the dignity in the midst of memory loss. So it's watching that resident who used to love to read the big novels but can't read anymore and now engaged in our bookmarks reading group and enjoying the discussion and connection in with others in ways that reflect who they are at their core. It's seeing that delight on that resident's face when they share their baking tip. And I got many of them when I was a memory care director during our timeless cooking or baking group. Or it's witnessing that sense of accomplishment when a resident is feeding themselves after gentle, patient guidance from our team members. It's in the quiet, tender moments as well, sitting with a resident during essence and listening as they share about the frustration of the disease, offering that empathy, comfort, and that human presence. It's also supporting that daughter who's had a challenging visit, and we can help create a meaningful, peaceful connection for her. It's guiding family members to understand that dementia journey provides space to grieve, and it helps them create that special, cherished moments with their loved one. These moments extend to everyday interaction that may seem small, but they carry such a deep significance. It's hearing that resident call that team member, "You're my friend," or seeing their face light up with their favorite song, observing that smile as they relax and enjoy comfort and are calm. It's that memory care director who notices that the resident's relaxing because they use the lavender lotion, or that family member who may express relief and happiness seeing that the loved one's engaged, connected, and content. These impacts may be little things, but residents lighting up during activity that sparks a familiar memory, or a spouse seeing their loved one fully present, and a family finding peace in knowing that their parent is not just cared for, but truly known. The most meaningful feedback we received is simple yet profound. Embrace brings moments of joy back to daily life. It's about being fully present, fully engaged in every small experience, connection, and gesture. These aren't just moments that truly matter. They define the Embrace program and the lasting impact on everyone involved.
Wow. When you mentioned about, a struggling daughter, just being heard is and seen. Even though we can't fix everything, we can understand, and we can let them know it's a normal feeling. And I think so often people, they want to stay safe in the middle. I can't get angry or mad, can't be too joyful, or people think I'm crazy there too, and so they kind of try to sit in this calmness. They have these things that bubble up, and we don't allow that so often for people to feel the range of emotions. And I think it's so important, because you can't be happy without being sad. I mean, there's the yin to the yang to all of it, and explaining that it's normal. And the more you bottle it up, the chances are it's going to come out sideways and not how you want it to. So let's just address it and feel it and acknowledge it, and then kick it to the curb and go, okay, I've had enough of this. It just makes such sense. You had talked about, is Bookmarks another program?
Yes.
You have?
Yes. So we have 6 signature programs within our Embrace program. And so Bookmarks is another one. And we use books from Center for Applied Research. So they are designed for those with dementia. And what's great is that they're adult subjects. I loved reading them when I was a memory care director too, but that's one page. It's 16 font, black ink on white paper. And so our residents will get them into a circle, about 10 or less, and then they each take turns reading a page. And at the end of bookmarks, there's questions for them. So it's like, how has the chocolate chip cookie evolved? And so then we talk about, what did you bake? Did your mom bake you cookies? So there's a whole bunch of questions and then music. So it's a great, great program. And it also, we want to make sure that our residents keep reading so they can keep reading restroom signs, their menus, different things like that.
Oh, that's cool. I'll mention a couple others that might be helpful additions even for your program. One is Kirkland Publishers, Ann Obbitz. Her mom had dementia and her mom was publisher. She loved to read. So she has created kind of chapter books, short stories. I think it's only 3 characters. It's very simple, but it's more of a book concept when they can still read at that point.
That's great.
For my mom, we didn't know she couldn't read until one day I walked in. She was holding the paper upside down like she was reading it. And then I asked to see it and I said there was something on the back I wanted to see. And then I turned it around and gave it to her the right way while other people snickered, and it's really important for people to feel empowered with those. Then there is Medora, the Medora magazine, which is specific for dementia and seniors, larger print, good quality, short, even has some games and stuff in it. Beautiful, beautiful photography and things in that it doesn't look like a specialized magazine. It just looks like a classy magazine, which is really cool. And that's something you can subscribe to. And then there's Nana's books. And Lorette Clear was a librarian, if I remember correctly. And she has a ton of books, and they're all 8.5 by 11. Picture on one side, little verbiage, and so someone who can read won't get lost flipping the page and trying to follow. It can be used for reminiscing. I mean, it can be, you can read it to them. You can just talk about the pictures, and they have like vets and they have faith and they have poetry. I mean, there's just all different types. There's dogs and cats and she's got a ton of those, but those have all really stood out and are all designed specifically for people with dementia and our senior
thank you
for sharing. I wrote those down, and I love that you had said because very similar. So the materials that we utilize with the Center for Applied Research in Dementia, it's dignified. They don't look like they're a specialized book or childlike, right? We want to make sure that there's dignity in our programming, and so I love that you shared that. So because sometimes it can be difficult to find materials, that's one of the things that we always train with our teams is like, if you're trying to look for an item, like don't just assume, oh, I'm going to go get this childlike puzzle or I'm going to go get this childlike, there is, material and tools out there, that's still dignified for individuals with memory loss. So I love that.
Yeah. There's another one called Resense, but they lost their funding when, all the funding got pulled, and that was for newspaper. Larger print. And so we're hoping, that they get their funding back for that. And a lot of senior communities were subscribing to that because it was just easier for people to be able to read. And, still, like I said, for my mom, that was so critical. Even when we knew she couldn't read anymore, that was her habit. And it was important for her to still get that paper every day.
Absolutely.
It wasn't about the read anymore. It was about the possibility of it, the feel of it, the routine of it. And I know so often, sometimes people will say, well, just do it on an iPad. Well, it's not the same feel as a book or a newspaper or magazine. For, younger people, they're not going to care because that's their norm. Everything's on a screen for many of them. But for our elders and even people my age, we like the touch and the feel of things many times. And sometimes even the smell.
Familiar.
Very with that.
And
Yeah.
oftentimes we'll hear from families like, oh, my loved one can't read anymore. Well, maybe they can't read the newspaper, the way that they used to because of the size font and things like that. But then they'll be surprised when they're a part of our bookmarks group, right? Because they're able to be, successful because it's, designed for them. So keeping those abilities as often as we to continue as often as we can.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just, maybe they need new eyeglasses. Maybe they need brighter light. I know I need a lot more light than what I ever used to do. I mean, I got my grandkids sitting on the floor in the dark, listening to music and doing their homework all at the same time. And it just brings back memories of my folks going, turn the light on. What's wrong? You can't be doing anything. And my grandkids go, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm like, I remember that was my answer too. And I couldn't understand how they couldn't see what I was seeing, and it's like nowadays I almost need one of those minor, lights.
Yeah, totally.
Those types of adjustments we don't really talk about and how it can change and really empower things on a huge, huge level for people. Brittany, I wanted to ask you what excites you about the future of Embrace and where you see, the innovation in memory care going.
Yes. Well, a lot excites Trina and I, as you can tell. We're always so excited to develop new things. So I think the opportunity to just keep growing while staying true to our core purpose. So creating those meaningful moments that enrich the lives of our residents and our families and our team members as well. So memory care is evolving at an incredible pace. So we're just trying to, keep up from advancements in therapeutic technology, sensory-based programming, cognitive health and engagement and individualized care strategies. So Embrace is uniquely positioned to continue leading in these areas because we have a strong foundation, a culture that embraces innovation, and a team that's truly passionate about making a difference every single day. So looking ahead to the next 10 years, our focus will be on deepening personalization for every resident. And this means using insights from research, technology, and daily observation to understand each individual's preferences, their history, their needs, and tailoring those experiences to bring joy, to bring connection and purpose. We will expand specialized training for team members so that every caregiver, memory care director, enrichment professional has the knowledge, tools, and confidence to deliver exceptional resident centered care. Technology and data will play a key role, but not to replace that human connection, but to enhance it. So, helping us anticipate the needs and identify opportunities for engagement, and equally important, we will continue to listen. So to our residents, to our families, to our teams, because Embrace has always been its best when it evolves alongside the people that it serves. So ultimately, the next decade of Embrace will be built with heart, curiosity, and a commitment to meaningful moments. And we're excited to explore new ways to create joy, preserve identity, foster the connection, while remaining grounded in the values that have made Embrace an award-winning program. So the possibilities ahead are inspiring, and I can't wait to see the ways that we continue to make a difference in the lives of our residents, families, and our teams.
Oh, that's cool. And I love how you talked about the balance of, high tech, high touch, because I go back to my days in real estate where, everything was high touch. And then the computer, everyone had to have a computer and everything was going to change. And we wouldn't have to meet with people anymore. We could just email it to them and they'd be scratching their head going, well, what? What does this all mean? And then everything had to rebalance again because it just doesn't work one way or the other. And each person's going to be a little bit different on what that balance looks like for them. And that's, if it's a resident, if it's a family member, or even your staff, we have different comfort levels with all of those types of things. And I think one of the good things with tech, at least, is we don't feel like if we screw up, we're going to wipe everything out. I mean, I remember the day when you're like, oh, I don't want to touch it because what if I blow the program up, and then you push the undo button, it's very, very simple, but
Yes.
there can be so much fear in those types of things. And I love your focus on sensory care. I think that's incredibly important. I know for myself and some of the trainings I do one on sensory care and emotional intelligence, on just the day-to-day things that we don't even think of, that are sensory care and how it impacts, our environment and those who we care for and our teams as a whole. Those ripple effects are massive, and sometimes we don't get to the root of what was the original trigger, and sometimes it's as simple as closing blinds because the room changes, brightness or shadow effects that can make people feel paranoid. Real simple things to be able to control. And, that is so empowering for everyone once they understand the importance, of that. And, it's beautiful that you guys are doing that. Trina, anything that you want to add about the where you see things going and what excites you?
I'm excited to see where the next 10 years will take us. I mean, we've seen so much growth, and I think just as we look to celebrate our 10 years, we've got a couple of great projects that were taking place, and excited to see those. I think our trainings for our memory care directors, we're just going to keep on incorporating trainings into different ways that we can help them. So I think that's going to be a huge part. I think leadership too. Me and Brittany both see that, our memory care directors being the champions, that they need some leadership tools with that too. So that excites me. And again, I just think that the senior leadership at, Chicago home office, they just let us dream. And me and Brittany are both dreamers and visionary people. And so having that behind us, you never know where we're going to take Embrace.
That's cool, and that's rare to have to have that freedom, and the belief in you to go where you're needed to go and to test things out. That's how we make change, and that's called creativity, and a lot of that's gotten crunched. And pulled back, and everything's got to be in a box. One of the things that we didn't talk about, but I think this is important too, Senior Lifestyles has a variety of different options for people from assisted living and skilled and memory care and things. Are those big complexes, or are your memory care, are they part of that, or are they standalone, buildings? And Brittany, I'll throw that one to you.
Yeah. Great question, Lori. And my best answer is we have a mix of everything for everyone, right? So yes, to answer your question, we do have some standalone memory cares. And then we also have some larger communities from independent living to, skilled. So, the best place to look is, our seniorlifestyle.com website, where you would be able to find a community and location nearby you. But I think that's what's so great and unique about Senior Lifestyle is really we have every level of care and kind of every style of community as well.
Oh, that's neat. Because I know a lot of people will start in maybe independent, move to assisted living, maybe as a couple, and they want to stay there as long as they can. But, word in the hallway is everybody knows someone's got dementia, and a lot of times there's multiple people, but they can live in that lifestyle being supported. But again, they find great comfort in that cohesion if they can just transfer over, or, even if it's an off-site, knowing the company philosophy and understanding of that. And now are those managers and some staff in like the assisted living or independent, are they trained at all on dementia as well or not?
Yeah, they definitely can be if they would like to be. We open up these trainings to everyone. Like Brittany said earlier, like for the certified dementia practitioner certificate, we open that up to everyone at Senior Lifestyle. So I think that we have over 200 plus team members who are certified. So again, it's open to everyone. Me and Brittany are the trainers on behalf of NCCDP, so we get the privilege of training our team members.
Okay, great. Because I think that can be so helpful too for people to understand, because there is that kind of step through process. Or I've heard communities go, well, we don't really know how to handle this. And it's like, and my philosophy is don't hide it in the back room, talk about it. Because a lot of times you'll find volunteers in your independent and assisted living that want to also help with memory care if you accept volunteers. I know not everybody does, but that can be a great sense of purpose for those other people as well as the person with dementia. Do you guys have a volunteer program at all for your dementia care, Brittany?
We do. We do have volunteers. And so if someone is wanting to volunteer, please reach out and we can definitely connect you with the right people. So absolutely outside of our community. And then you're absolutely right, Lori. It's a very full program to, our residents within, the community to even give back and to volunteer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very cool. Well, anything that we haven't talked about, I could talk with you two all day because I just feel very like-minded, but everybody might like, hey, got to get on with stuff, Laura. But anything stand out, Trina, to you that we didn't cover?
No, I think we've covered a lot of stuff. Like I said, like me and Brittany could talk also forever about Embrace. It's a program that again has deeply impacted my life. And so I'm very, very passionate about it.
Great. Brittany, any last thoughts?
I don't think so. As you can tell, we're very passionate about our program, and we love what we do, and we love sharing with others on what we do and spreading the word. So
thank you, ladies, so much for taking your time. You're doing amazing things, and I can't wait to see what else you come up with, in the next year. And it'll be fun to watch you. To our audience, I always ask you to be a giver of hope. Like, click, and share, not because we're chasing numbers. We are chasing the philosophy of we each can help one another.
Yeah.
Costs no money, takes very little time, a little clickaroo to people in your sphere. You don't know who needs this information. And it might be someone who might not be dealing with it, but knows someone who is. And it's just nice to be able to find information through a friendly source, one that's trusted, instead of going to Google, because most people don't even know what to Google. They don't know the terms. There's so much we don't know until we land in this, big pie. And so it really does help people find comfort, find resources. So again, if you can do that, that might really help some people over the holidays, because I know during the holiday seasons, a lot of people recognize changes that have happened with loved ones. And then they're scrambling on where do we go and what do we do? And, Brittany and Trina would love to be able to help you through their Embrace program with Senior Lifestyle. Or if they're not ready for memory care, sometimes it's just that slip and fall you're worried about, and you want assisted living or independent care as well. So thank you, everyone. Again, you can go to their website, seniorlifestyle.com/embrace-memory-care. We will have all of their contact information in the notes for you as well. Have a wonderful holiday season, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye now.
thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
So in wrapping up, I hope you have an amazing holiday season. And again, check into Alzheimer's Speaks and all of our free educational resources. They're on one tab, easy to find, with a variety of things that you can grab or listen to or watch or read. As well as our sister company, Dementia Map, which is more of a global resource that we are building out. I appreciate each and every one of you as part of our community. You mean so much to us, and just overly grateful. Thank you.